What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So we got the group-focused guide for Plaguestar 2023 today, and yeah, some of the stuff we're using today definitely really makes the mission go faster. If you enjoy these types of videos, build guides, farming guides, informational videos, all that kind of stuff involving Warframe, make sure you hit that sub button. We do daily Warframe video uploads on this channel. And even with me grinding out Plaguestar like crazy, that's not ending anytime soon. So yeah, really appreciate all the support, guys, recently. Also, I'll be live tonight with some more Plaguestar grinding, as I will be probably live every single day that Plaguestar's here, grinding out some Forma. So come on, stop by, and maybe use some of the stuff in this video to grind out some Forma with me. Alright, so let's get right into it. We're not messing around here. We're using a lot of frames to make this the most efficient possible. I'm actually going to show you some secret tech as well, which actually might not be so secret if you watch my 2021 videos in addition. So let's get right in and go over the frame choices and what you should be doing for every bounty step on the Plaguestar if you want to get the most out of your time. So let's start off with the first step, going into the cave and grabbing the canister and getting back to the mixer or whatever. You should probably have the host of the mission be playing a speedrunning frame like Nova Prime, Volt Prime, Titania Prime, technically Wisp Prime too, and then the secret character at the end probably shouldn't be the host because they're going to have the easiest job basically. But yeah, you want to have a speedrunning frame go into that cave, grab the canister and get out of there as fast as possible. I don't cover really any glitches or exploits in these videos, but basically, yeah, you can get out of the cave really fast, you know what you're doing. So awesome there. So yeah, just fly out of there as quickly as possible. After that, use the Nightwave dialogue, the Nightwave challenges button to skip the dialogue to instantly spawn the next objective. And then once you do that, have the person that has the canister in the cave, probably running out of the cave to get to that canister spot, have them go to the canister spot and put it in the canister. Afterwards, you don't really need to actually defend the objective, to be honest. If you have an elite on-call crew member, which, if you know who Hoba is, if you have an elite on-call crew member with the Kuvazar, they will solo defend the objective, even on the Steel Path version, because it's not even a real Steel Path version. If you notice, you can spam energy pads really fast. Normally on the Steel Path, you have a 1 minute cooldown on energy pads. Additionally, if you're fighting Eidolons on the Steel Path bounty, they don't drop Steel Essence, so I wouldn't really recommend wasting your time fighting the Terrorist for this, as the Terrorist doesn't even drop very good arcanes in the first place. So but yes, your options as far as what to do during the defending phase is you can go out and hunt a Thumper during the day, or during night you can go catch some fish, some rare fish, or you can try to fight the Eidolon, I suppose. I'd only recommend doing the Eidolon if you have a Volt in your squad, obviously. You can technically do it without a Volt, but yeah, unless you're fighting the Eidolon from the very second the mission starts, it's not likely you're going to be killing the Gauntless and the Hydralisk by the time that the bounty stops. Because remember, in 2023, you could not infinitely load the bounty from the tent. You have to actually go back to the town every single time. So yeah, you're not going to be able to do multiple bounties while someone's fighting the Hydralisk. So yeah, unfortunate about that. Okay, so let's start off about the Force Spawn drone location. So if you see on screen right now, this is called the Gaz spot. I discovered this on stream. All me. I'm not exaggerating either. I'm like, hey, let's go test out a Force drone spawn. Hey, the first one I tried worked really well. So get everybody on this spot right here on the map. I placed a lock pin there too. It's a tower right by one of the defending points. If everybody stands on that exact spot, it is highly likely you will get a very close drone spawn, about 300 to 400 meters of the boil. And there you go right there. That's the spot we're usually getting. There's another spot to the left we'll get sometimes too that's about 400 meters away as well. The big thing here is that you want to have your Volt with as much power strength as possible. Preferably Wisp with as much power strength as possible too, because the Volt speed speeds up the drone. I'm going to show you an extreme example of that right here. Let me just go ahead and find that timestamp. Okay, so we have, at 7:22, I have a extremely sped up drone here. Looks like we have Nidus power strength on a Volt and on a Wisp. And with the combination of these things, the drone will move so fast that good luck even catching up to it. So here we are. Now so with this Force spawn spot, there's about 3 or 4 spots it could be at from this Force spawn spot. We got the only bad one here so far. It's going to be in pretty much the back of the map, about 900 meters away. If you're using the things in this video, 900 meters is pretty much no problem at all. Oh, look, it was the 400 meter one. Okay, so this is going to be a complete joke. I won't even be able to portal this thing because the things we're using in this video it makes it a joke, really. The Volt speed, I can't even catch up to this thing unless I have all the speed buffs it has. So yeah, the drone being teleported is less important now with the fact that Volt's speed and Wisp speed mote work on the drone. you sometimes will speed it up so fast that it actually won't even, it will just like kind of like veer off the pathway, so keep that in mind. With a extremely high power strength, invigorated Volt and Wisp, the drone moves so fast that if you are playing Nova, be aware you might not be able to teleport it reliably. So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of these builds, and I'm also going to show you some weapons that can kill this thing really fast. That one guy that always says the Burston is good for this, he was definitely right this time. If you can get the Burston and Karnan ammo through whatever means, the Burston and Karnan melts this thing like really fast. So I highly recommend it if you don't have the Burston Incarnon, but we'll talk about the ways you can build the Incarnon ammo pretty easily as well during one of these strategies. So as you can see right there, basically as soon as it's damageable, it's insta-dead, and that's pretty good. I'd say the Burston Incarnon is quite nice. It has massive fire rate, it has built-in heat damage, and the Hemocyte is weak to corrosive and blast, so you can actually fit on blast damage pretty easily to melt the Hemocyte. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of these builds here, and I'm going to actually load onto the planes, and I'm going to fly over to the 4 spawn spots so you can know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So here we are in the ship. I'm going to show you how Nidus works too, because really the exact reason we'd be bringing Nidus is because he wants to be buffing Volt. It's all about Volt power strength for that drone segment. So let's go ahead and start talking about Volt first. So for Volt, pretty much the exact same build as the other day, but big thing here, since you are going to be having a team comp with Wisp, you can throw on the adaptation mod, as Wisp gives you a ton of extra health points and health regen. Adaptation goes a pretty long way when you're surrounded by infested trying to slice you up. They got toxin clouds too. This will work pretty well with the Wisp mode. So if you want to take off maybe some duration for some more damage reduction, basically, be my guest. But the big thing here is you're going to want to go for big power strength. I only have 298% strength in my Volt, so if you have power strength invigoration to get like 500, that'd be great. But yeah, just because the Volt speed multiplier is affected by strength. So that's why we bring Nidus. Nidus' third ability, Parasitic Link, will increase his teammates' power strength. This makes the drone move really fast. And it's going to make the mission go faster too. Technically, you can also speed up your teammates' arc wings. The third person, or rather the last person that's not on the 4th spawn spot, should be Volt or Wisp to get to that spawn spot as fast as possible while holding the canister. If they get there in time, you will have the 4th spawn location. We got Rest and Rage from Equinox. In the day form, it will make the enemy move faster and have an increased damage vulnerability. Very good to combine with Speed Nova. The rest of this stuff here is just power strength, basically. Shock Trooper to give extra electric damage to your weapons. This will work on the Hemocyte as well, and it's going to make it where you kill it really fast. Molt Vigor is going to be increased Warframe power strength after an operator ability is cast. I think you can just use like any operator ability. If you have Madarai, you can use either Void Strike or Contamination Wave, and that will proc the extra power strength. Additionally, included while we're talking about Madarai, Sling Strength. After switching to the Warframe after 2 Void Slings, you get 40% additional power strength. So we got this right here, 40% here. We got, I think it's 45 from Molt Vigor as well. So even without my Invigoration, I'm at about 400% power strength before Nidus is taken into account. So as far as good weapons for this, I'm going to show you the Soma, which I didn't really show in the video, but it's pretty good. It's going to be a blast build because we got Prime Cryo rounds. And I don't want to unform with this thing for a Toxin mod, to be honest. So blast is going to be great, even though it's a slightly worse multiplier against the Lephantis. For the Burston, it's going to be it'll be a very similar build. See if I can find that build right here. So, like I said, I don't want to really take off this D polarity because I usually use Galvanized Aptitude on these guns. So you can just put on Prime Cryo and a Heat mod to get blast damage. It's not going to be as good as Corrosive, but hey, at least we got a Prime Cold mod, right? Then the rest is just going to be Anti-Infested, Crit, Damage, Multi-Shot. The Riven is really good for this. Fire Rate, Crit Chance, Multi-Shot, minus Corpus. If you don't have a Riven for it, I'd recommend getting it, as the Burston has really powerful Rivens. But if you just really don't want to, I guess you can throw like Prime Shred there instead. The Arcane's not going to really matter, as you're going to melt it so fast if your team has Eclipse in the first place. Alright, so the Vastalok and Pyrana are in the video from yesterday. Let's not dwell too much on that. Let's move on to the Wisp build. Actually, let's move on to the Nidus build, and then we can talk about Wisp after that. So, for Nidus, it's really just everything power strength. Literally everything power strength. There's some little tricks with Nidus you can do. So if you are using the Burston and Karnan, you're like, this ammo is annoying to maintain. The Parasitic Link ability, while linked to an enemy, will let you build infinite Incarnon ammo off of them. The problem is, when you're linked to an enemy as Nidus, they take a percentage of the damage you are taking. So that means the enemy you link to, if it's a worthless infested, it will die basically as soon as you link to it. So be aware of that. If you want to link to an enemy as Nidus, you're going to probably be looking for an infested ancient. So if your teammates can like put a waypoint in an infested ancient for Nidus, he can link to it for probably a little bit longer, and then your whole team can get burst ammo off of it very easily. But that part's not important. The biggest part here is the damage increase, air quotes, damage increase. That's a power strength increase on your Volt. This will make the drone move faster than any other method besides teleporting every single time. And we've got Empower on Nidus. You could technically put Total Eclipse here instead if your team doesn't have an Eclipse buffer already, but the reason for this is to make it where your Parasitic Link has more power strength. This increase scales off of power strength, so we've got 331 on here. If you had a invigorated Nidus for like 600% power strength, it'd be even more. And I had Total Eclipse on here earlier, I just took that off because I wanted to try out Empower, and I'm sure Empower will work really well. But yeah, just everything power strength basically, as much power strength as you can jam. I've got double Umbra on him, I got Adaptation just for the Wisp motes. And yeah, really good. So Power Dono, technically, if you're doing a fully min-max team comp, you can have Power Donation on Nidus technically, and you can also have on Nova. So the reason you don't want to have too many power donations in your team, it reduces your power strength by 30%, but it increases your squad mate's power strength by 30% as well. So for Speed Nova, you want to be in the negative power strength number. So with having 2 of these between all your teammates, your power strength on Nova will still be negative, but you're also giving 60% power strength to your Volt as well, without linking it to it with Nidus. So very good there. But yeah, like I said, if you don't want to use Empower on Nidus, you can just use like Eclipse, and then Nidus can be your Eclipse buffer. He's also your Incarnon battery too. Alright, so I think I showed Nidus and Volt. Let's go ahead and show Nova, even though I showed Nova in the video yesterday. The only change to the Nova build, really, is that I put on Adaptation. Because, with the Wisp modes giving us constant health regen and all that, this makes it where we're a lot more tanky. If you don't want to do that, I think I had Vigorous Swap on there yesterday. But yeah, Power Donation's just really nice. It lets you have negative power strength on Nova, also lets you buff your teammates. Very nice little combo right there. As far as helmets, if you want to get even more power strength on Nidus, you could replace Condemn with Dispensary from Protea that will drop an energy orb and let you have the energy conversion mod for additional power strength on Nidus. But keep in mind that when you jump into Arcwing in this game, it takes away energy conversion. So if you're going to the camping spot, wouldn't really recommend energy conversion, as you're just going to have it consumed by the time you get there. So Condemn's fine. It gives you a little bit of extra breathing room. It links up to Infested, or changes up to Infested. It will stun the boss if you're not using the Prisma Gorgon or whatever. So yeah, pretty nice there. You could go with a lot of helmet options here, including Energized Munitions. Like, the choice is yours. I just like Condemn because it's safety, and it also can stun the boss when the boss is sped up. But yeah, we're on Speed Nova, of course. And the portals will... If you can actually keep up the portals with the drone moving this fast, good job, because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need some really good portal placement on that thing. So as far as taking care of the trash ads, I have not tried the Ocucor out for this, but I'm sure it would be very good. The Ocucor Augment mod, Sentient Surge. So you just throw on the Expel Infested mod on there. There you go, instead of the Expel Grenier. And maybe throw on some corrosive damage instead of viral damage, but it's not going to really matter that much, to be honest. These Infested are not very hard to kill. It's a fake steel path. I'll probably have a video talking about that on, like, Friday or something. So yeah, that's going to be great for taking care of the Infested. This should not shoot the spawn pods either. That's the biggest thing, is you don't want to shoot the spawn pods when you're doing ad clear. So that's what I would recommend. You can use the Ocucor if you have the augment for it. I was just using a kit gun I was leveling up for Eidolon hunts. It's a Vermisplicer with the parts Splat and Gibber. And yeah, just whatever mod you got, basically. The Infested are not very hard to kill. Just don't blow up the spawn pods, please. And then, yeah, we got Xenoric on Nova. This can give your teammates a 20% power strength buff that's independent of their Matter Eye 40% buff. So even more power strength for Volt, even faster drone, even harder time for me to teleport that drone around. So yeah, and let's go ahead and talk about Wisp, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys after this how to get to the forced drone spot if you want to be doing that. I've heard some other content creators saying they found some forced spawn spots too, but I've been told by a lot of people that their spawn spot is not as good as mine. I haven't investigated it, but that's what I'm hearing. Oh yeah, the Boar Prime is also really good for this too. Alright, so for Wisp Prime, you probably want somebody on your team running Eclipse and Total Eclipse mod, so whoever that is, it could be Nidus, it could be Volt, it could be Wisp for all I care, but for the person being linked to, or rather, for the person using Eclipse, just make sure that your Nidus knows which one is which, so you can get linked to in the final phase with Nidus to get even more damage buff. It's not as important, really. Any amount of Eclipse should be fine. But yeah, I just know. I was playing Nidus, and I'm like, okay, who has Eclipse? Who am I linking to? Just don't link to Nova, whatever you do. If you link to Nova, you're going to slow down the mission as Nidus. But yeah, Total Eclipse, give everyone that buff. tons of power. Just jam every power strength you can, basically. And that's for your Wisp modes, making the drone faster, making your teammates get more health and health regen, speed multiplier, you name it, Wisp got it. So really good stuff there. And of course, you could change the helmet to other stuff if you prefer. But yeah, really good stuff. And as far as the Boar Incarnon, it's another thing where it's like, do I really want to form to take off this D polarity? I think I already did, but so this build right here is a blast build because we got the Blaze mod for increased heat damage and overall damage, and we got the Chilling Grass mod, a prime mod for cold, so those go together into blast. We don't really have room for corrosive on here, sadly. You got Shotgun Vendetta. You can just change the Arcane to something else if you'd like to. But yeah, multi-shot crit damage Riven. This thing will shred the Hemocyte very fast. Okay, let's go ahead and show... Oh, so for Thumpers. Okay, so while you're doing the whatever phase, the second phase Thumper, or the second phase defense objective, you might get kind of bored. You're like, why am I just standing around letting Hoba do all the work right now? What should I do with my time? You can go hunt down some Thumpers. Thumpers are like these big tank things on the plains, and they can drop things such as like resources. I think the Thumper actually, yeah, the Thumper was on the objective this time. So how you can easily kill a Thumper is you can use the Zeneric slowing ability. So it's the second ability of Zeneric. I think it's called like Temporal Drag. It will slow down the Thumper, and then use the Vastalock to armor strip the Thumper. After this, the damage types that the Thumper is weak to are Blast and Electric. Use a Necromech Void Rig with the Arquebec's fourth ability modded for Electric and Blast. I think it has Blast at base, actually. So pretty much just mod it for Electric and Blast. And you can nuke down the Thumper. Just keep slowing it down after you break a couple legs, and the loot will just drop out. You can get things such as Spring-Loaded Blade, Glander Vice, and a ton of Plains resources from doing this. By the way, Necros Desecrate does work on the Thumper. I just don't really know how effective it really is. So that's a thing you could do there. And for Eidolon hunting, I'd recommend a Pneumaterite Focus Tree. You can use the 177 amp. I use the 147 amp for Void Cascade, so that works too. Mostly just the one Prism shot. And yeah, it's pretty good. So we're the fastest run we've done in this squad was about 7 minute 14 second, and the average run is about like 8 minutes, I'd say. So there you go. Just do that over and over and over again all day long for the next 2 weeks, and yeah, maybe you'll find the fun. I'm just kidding. It actually is pretty fun to do this. It's very chill too. The Steel Path version is not very hard. It's just tad there's no Steel Essence involved. There's no Acolytes. Even if you kill the Steel Path Terrorless, it doesn't even give you any Steel Essence in the first place. And yeah, we already tried. It doesn't work. So yeah, that's basically it for the video, guys. If you have any other questions about like Plague Star stuff, let me know honestly on stream would be great, or in the comment section. Oh, by the way, the companion I've been using is the Adarza Kavat, and I think I showed this in the video yesterday, but Cat's Eye to give us increased crit chance. It makes our Burston with our Riven like guaranteed red crits. Link Redirection if you're on my Nova build. If you're not on my Nova build, go with Calculated Redirection for more shields to try to get that reinforced bond number. It'll take a couple reloads though. Hasten Deflection to regen that shield so you get that buff again. And then we got level 4 Bite and Tenacious Bond to give us a increased crit damage multiplier. Many Pet Kit in case it dies. It will take less time to come back to life. And yeah, Fetch to absorb the loot. So yeah, the rest of the stuff is definitely up to personal preference. You can throw in another Bond mod to respawn it faster if you'd like to. But to be honest, the Adarza is not very important here. It's mostly a loot backing for me, so. Hey guys, hope that you found this video fun and helpful. For the fourth slot on your team, the Nidus slot is definitely flexible. You can go with something like Titania to move really fast. She can be very good for grabbing the canister and flying out of there. You can even go Secret Agent Titania if you want to, where you place the decoy outside of the vault, or rather outside the cave, and then you die on purpose after you pick up the canister in the cave, and it'll teleport you out of the cave instantly. Use the Save Your Decoy Augment mod for that. Where is that? I didn't have it equipped. Save Your Decoy Augment mod. That's going to make it where you can switch places with your decoy after you die. It's technically the fastest way to get out of the cave outside of any unintended features. So, yep, let me know how you guys like this one in the comments. I'll see you next time. Appreciate your support. Peace.